We are just 1 month away from version 6.3 in Columbina's banner, and the last couple of days have been completely stacked with version 6.2 updates and kit reveals. So it's finally time to sit down and discuss which characters and team compositions are going to define the new meta. Let's start with upcoming characters. As we already know, Columbina and Zibai are arriving in version 6.3, followed shortly by Varka and major reruns including Skirk, Escoffier, Mavuika, Ineffa, and Nouvellette across the following patches. Starting with the premium team structure that I currently see forming, Columbina's teams. As mentioned, Columbina supports several archetypes. First are her main Nod-Krai DPS teams. Second are teams with older DPS such as Varka running Lunar charge setups. Third are Geo compositions with characters like Navia, Albedo, and Shiori. And finally, her own on-field DPS teams such as Bloom, Hyperbloom, and Burgeon setups using combinations with Ineffa, Lauma, Nahida, and even Durin. Let's break these down. Columbina is providing approximately a 15 to 20,000 DPS increase across all major Nod-Krai carry teams. She is not a downgrade compared to the dedicated supports that currently exist. Nefer-Lauma teams remain extremely close to Nefer-Columbina setups, sitting around 5 to 8,000 DPS lower because the direct buffs Lauma provides are significantly stronger compared to Columbina's support buffs. Columbina behaves more like a sub-DPS rather than a pure support, so her own damage contribution across teams is much higher than most traditional buffers. I'm not going deep into exact numbers here since beta values can still change. This section is only meant to give you a general idea of how team structures are shaping up heading into version 6.3. For full calculations and detailed breakdowns, check out the dedicated guides already on the channel. Importantly, Columbina pushes teams for Flynn's, Nefer, and even Zibai above current Skirk compositions, which is a massive increase to team damage ceilings. While we will likely see tuning changes as the beta evolves, these teams are still expected to remain comfortably above Skirk-level performance even after feature adjustments.
Now moving into her second archetype, older DPS Lunar charge teams. These include setups with Varka, Ineffa, and Columbina working together to enable powerful lunar charge reactions. This same template can be extended to electro carries such as Clorind, Raiden, and other electro DPS options. At present, these appear to be the strongest possible electro charge style teams available for almost any electro DPS in the game. For Geo carries, you can form teams like Navia plus Columbina and Iluga, supported by Yelan, or you can include utility supports like Durin or Shilonen. The priority for all of these teams is unlocking the Ascendant Gleam state, which requires Columbina plus at least one more Nod-Krai unit. Once you achieve that, most Geo setups simply start working by default. For Dendro teams, Columbina does not synergize as strongly with Kinich due to the restrictive requirements on his team structure, especially needing Pyro and Notlon units to maximize his output. However, she slots extremely well into teams with Alhaitham or Tainari, especially combined with Lauma and Nilou in Bloom setups, or replacing Nilou with Kuki or Ineffa for Hyperbloom teams. Finally, we move into her own DPS role. Since Columbina's charged attacks can consume Verdant Dew stacks, and her burst generates multiple special Dew stacks lasting up to 18 seconds, she can function as a true on-field DPS in Dendro reaction teams similar to Lauma. Her top 3 main DPS team archetypes are Hyperbloom teams with Lauma, Ineffa, and Nahida, Burgeon teams with Lauma and Durin, where Durin runs a full elemental mastery build, and Nilou Bloom teams as a reaction driver carry. Among these, Hyperbloom currently looks to be the strongest overall option, reaching around 125,000 DPS using the Lauma, Ineffa, Nahida, and Columbina core thanks to extremely high personal damage and strong cross-reaction synergy between all 4 members. If you would like a dedicated video covering every one of Columbina's team calculations in detail, let me know in the comments. because honestly, the number of viable compositions has grown extremely large. Now moving beyond Columbina, Lunar Swirl has not yet officially released, which opens a few interesting possibilities. Either Varka's kit could convert standard Swirl into Lunar Swirl, or Huyoverse introduces another premium character specifically designed to trigger Lunar Swirl reactions. If Varka indeed triggers Lunar Swirl and joins the Hexerei roster as expected, we unlock a massive number of new team options. For example, teams such as Varka, Durin, Columbina, plus a healer or shielder like Ineffa or Jehoda running Viridescent Venerare. You could also build compositions like Varka, Faruzan, Columbina, and Ineffa, combining Silken Moon buffs with Viridescent Shred, while Columbina runs her signature artifact set for maximum personal damage. If you own C4 Jean or Venti, you can replace Faruzan, though Jean becomes especially valuable as she provides healing, freeing up space for additional buffers or damage dealers.
Apart from Jean, Venti, Durin, Columbina, and the other Hexerei supports, we still do not have much detailed information about Varka's kit yet. But as mentioned before, if he ends up triggering the Lunar Swirl reaction, then he would automatically work with all existing Lunar supports as well. This would effectively make Varka a centerpiece character who benefits from both Ascendant Gleam buffs and locked Hexerei synergy buffs at the same time. Finally, looking toward future characters, we have now fully seen Nicole's vision, confirming her as a Pyro unit. Given her lore as one of the original 8 witches and a surviving member of the Angel race, she is almost certainly joining as another Hexerei member and is shaping up to be one of the most powerful characters in the game. Current information suggests she will function more as a mono-Pyro DPS path rather than focusing on Melt or Vaporize, which makes sense considering how already dominant Melt teams have become in the existing meta. If this direction remains unchanged, her teams will predominantly center around Geo, Anemo, and Pyro compositions. Some of the early team ideas for Nicole look like Nicole, Durin, Venti, and Albedo, or pairing her with buffers and supports like Bennett, Kazuha, and Shalonen. As mentioned, because she is from a different race called the Angel race, don't be surprised if she releases with a completely unique mechanic. We've seen this happen before with characters like Arlecchino and Skirk. Considering current design trends, Hoyoverse may introduce yet another entirely new gameplay system with her. Let me know what you think about this direction. This also strongly suggests that Genshin's meta is finally shifting away from Vaporize and Melt being the default top reactions, moving toward other archetypes instead. Especially with upcoming characters like Durin, Columbina, Varka, and Nicole, none of whom appear optimized for Melt or Vaporize teams under ideal conditions. Beyond them, we still have Sandrone, who remains a complete mystery. Her design gives us virtually no clues about her potential playstyle or kit, and with her frequent use of mechanical constructs in combat, it will be extremely interesting to see how that translates into a playable character. With nearly all major harbingers now introduced, except for Piero, the director, it's clear that we are now entering the final arc of Genshin Impact's story. Let me know what you think about these upcoming characters and the future meta, and until then, stay tuned.